Thank you, Dan. As I stand here today, I am a few months shy of my 20 years in corrections and being a dedicated public servant. Within the past few years, I've reached out to members of my own local and members across the province whenever I've had the chance. And I fear, unfortunately, that being dedicated is becoming a thing of the past. I fear that labor relations are continuing to deteriorate, and so too does our collective morale. My name is Jackel. I'm the president of Local 369, Central North Correctional Center. I'd like to welcome all members of government, members of the ministry, members of OPSU, but I'd also like to welcome all the members of corrections and P&P here today. As I reflect on my 20 years, I can't help but remembering the social contract days under Bob Ray, the labor disruptions 96 and 2002 under Mr. Harris, the 5-year secretiveness and indecision surrounding the closing of the Guelph Correctional Center and the impact that had on peoples, the uncertainty of privatization that we all faced, and coming into more modern times, I reflect on the concessions we've been forced to bear, the 3-year hiring freeze and the subsequent staffing shortages that we all had to endure, the increased levels of violence we face with little or no protection, the Hamilton DC vest issue, and the irresponsible, delayed opening of the Toronto South Detention Centre and the effect that had on people. And as I look back, I can recall the hardship and stress that this has caused and placed on everyone. And I'm left wondering, was this necessary? How many families suffered? For what? Labor relations within corrections, I think, is fundamentally flawed. A simple test of good labor relations rests on 3 simple tests or points. A healthy labor relationship ought to provide us with what we want, both sides, a solid, substantial outcome. Our retiree benefits were recently slashed. So I have to ask everyone here, do you feel substantiated? A second point is that it ought to provide peace of mind. So again, I have to ask everyone here, do you feel confident about your current working conditions? The last point that good labor relations ought to provide is an ability to deal with differences. I don't know how anybody else feels about this to this point, but I'd say for the employer, with the strike of a pen, to radically change our retiree benefits, I'd say that answer is clearly no. I'd like to quote something, and this is a direct quote, and it states, "The government continues to respect the collective bargaining process. Collective bargaining enhances the ability of responsible employers and bargaining agents to increase productivity, deliver services, and ensure fiscal sustainability. Any modest wage increases that are negotiated must be absorbed by employers within available funding and with Ontario's existing fiscal plan through efficiency and productivity gains or other trade-offs, so that service levels continue to meet public needs. Ontario public sector settlements continue to be below average of those in the private sector, municipal sector, and the federal public sector." That quote comes out of a document entitled Building Opportunity, Securing Our Future, otherwise known as Ontario Budget 2014. So am I missing something? They respect the collective bargaining process, but meanwhile millions of dollars are being spent at many of our institutions to build living quarters for managers. Millions of dollars. And when I asked my superintendent what those building improvements were for, I was not told what they were for. So now I can only assume there was a code of silence being followed. I want labor relations in our ministry that shows respect for each other, for labor and management. I want a system where each side listens to each other's issues and concerns and addresses the needs of both sides. I want to be a partner in the workplace. I want to be a partner in the province. I want to have meaningful input into how my workplace is organized and managed, so that we are providing the best in correctional services, care, custody, and control. I want a labor relations where first considerations are made when both sides are advised. I don't know what anyone else here thinks, but I think it is time that we should expect to be treated like other members of the justice sector, and we should accept nothing less. Thank you very much for your time.
Thank you, Chris. And Chris Bush, you step forward.